NBA owners and Adam Silver are taking advantage of its players and its fan base, and it's getting ridiculous. It's really frustrating to me the way that this new CBA is set up with the second apron, making teams so afraid to spend money to where free agency is basically dead. Guys like Peyton Watson, DeMar DeRozan, Jalen Duren can't find a home this free agency period. The Boston Celtics had to trade Jaylen Brown because of the amount of money he was making. Their second best player of the last 10 seasons, they traded him to the rival Philadelphia 76ers because they were so afraid of the second apron. Victor Wembanyama was looking to sign his first extension in the NBA to make real NBA dollars and took a $50 million pay reduction from what he could have been making, and it is really, really ridiculous because that's the way that the CBA was set up and negotiated to take advantage of the players. And the owners won't say it. Adam Silver won't say it. He'll keep screaming to you, this is for parity. 8 champions in eight years. The NBA is all about parity. That's all they care about. Bull freaking crap. The NBA was in great shape when the Chicago Bulls were winning championships in the 90s. The NBA was in great shape when the Cavs and Warriors were playing in the NBA Finals in the 2015 to 2018 range. So miss me with that parity bull crap. Victor Wembanyama should not be responsible for saving the San Antonio Spurs money. $50 million. And you may say the NBA athletes are overpaid, or, athletes in general are making too much money. Why is he complaining about making $250 million? That is not the point. That $50 million that he leaves on the table does not go to charity. It doesn't go to the community. It doesn't go to those who need it. It goes back in the hands of the greedy rich owners who negotiated this stupid contract in the first place. And it's so frustrating because as a fan of the NBA, you see Jaylen Brown getting traded. I'm a Celtics fan, so, it hits a little close to home. But when he gets traded, there are literally little kids on the internet that are bawling their eyes out because their favorite player just got moved. And when you're talking about the health and the growth of the league, we should be catering to those kids. And seeing their favorite player get traded to a rival team is not good for the health and the future of the NBA. Jaylen Brown and the Boston Celtics should not be punished because he turned out to be a great all-NBA level player and turned out they drafted him. If your team is homegrown, you should not be punished for that. Yes, I understand that you do not want a recreation of the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. In 2016, Kevin Durant becomes a free agent from the Oklahoma City Thunder looking for a new home. And the cap jumps up. It spikes that year. So Kevin Durant's able to sign with the Golden State Warriors that had just won 73 games, lost in Game 7 in the NBA Finals to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that is not something that you want to recreate. So I understand there has to be some sort of constrictions. Obviously, the MLB, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the amount of money they're paying Shohei Ohtani for his contract is more money than the Cincinnati Reds' entire roster. That is not what we want as NBA fans. There has to be some level of stipulations and regulation when it comes to keeping the NBA health and fairness alive, because that's what matters most. It is not parity. It is not 8 champions in 8 years. It is fairness. It is saying that, hey, if you nail your draft picks for the next 5 seasons, you shouldn't have to say, hey, we have to get rid of 2 of these guys because they're too good and we got to pay them too much money. No, you should be rewarded for what you were able to build as an NBA team and being a smart team with the way that you drafted in your players evaluation. And Adam Silver is constantly going to say that the second apron is successful because of that parity. And it gets so frustrating to me because it has absolutely not been successful. The Boston Celtics gutted their entire team last season. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Luke Cornett, Al Horford, all on different teams after winning an NBA championship. They come back. Jaylen Brown has an awesome season, finishing 6th in MVP. And they have to ship him out because they can't afford to keep all these guys. That is not the way that the NBA should be set up. Victor Wembanyama should be able to sign his max rookie extension, and building the roster should be the responsibility of a smart front office. It should not be his job to take less money so that they can keep additional players. And in the free agency, we love to see parity. We love to see movement. Free agency has always been one of the best parts of the NBA season. Where's this guy going to sign? Where's this guy going to sign? It no longer exists. We don't see players move around the way that restricted free agency works. Jalen Duren is being screwed out of this world because he can sign for the most money with the Detroit Pistons. And if he gets offered a contract for even max amount of money with any of the other 29 teams, the Detroit Pistons can match that offer, which will be about $100 million less than what the Pistons could have offered him in the first place. And that is ridiculous. We have to figure out how to negotiate this in such a way that the players are not being screwed over. And that's where the problem lies in a lot of senses. These owners have the best lawyers in the world, and they negotiate and make business deals for a living. So they know how to take advantage of people that aren't as experienced as them. In the NBA PA, the Players Association has players, current players, former players all involved. And it's not a fair fight. It's not a fair negotiation, and the owners are taking advantage of that. They're putting more money in their own pocket with these massive TV deals, with the merch selling, social media, the explosion of all these different things, and the owners are able to keep a majority of this money in the name of parity, in the name of, we want to be smart and to keep our contracts under the second apron. The New York Knicks, James Dolan came out immediately and said, we are absolutely not going over the second apron. Mitchell Robinson is gone. That's a bummer, man. You just won an NBA championship with this player. He's been there for a very long time. Now he's out. Why is it? Because the way that the CBA was set up, and it becomes really frustrating as a fan and someone who loves the NBA, because it feels like Adam Silver focuses so much time on tanking and load management and things that affect gambling companies and his sponsorships. I've talked about this before. Gambling companies have Adam Silver by the balls. FanDuel and DraftKings and all those sorts of things, these big partners. Because when teams are intentionally losing games, the gambling companies are not okay with that. Because obviously, if we know that the Utah Jazz are intentionally trying to lose and we all go bet on the other team, that is bad for the gambling company. Well, you know what? Adam Silver hears that and he immediately makes changes to the lottery odds, the way that it's set up, because all he cares about is his partners. And I don't think Adam Silver has done a good job as commissioner of the NBA. The NBA is not automatically given a token to be successful for the rest of time. It has to continue to press the envelope to entertain its fan base and cater to the fans, and specifically its young fans. Because we saw the MLB absolutely ruled the sports world, 50 years ago. It was the number one sport in the world. It's considered America's pastime, and it started to fade. We've seen it start to become less and less popular as football has become more popular. Basketball, UFC, different soccer has done really well this year. But as those sports have grown, the MLB has struggled to stay relevant. And what's to say that the NBA can't face the same challenges in 20 or 30 years? Well, it is important that they continue to cater to their young fans, to advertise and promote their best star players. And if I'm a fan of a basketball team and my entire roster is changing over, that to me is not fun. The reason I don't like college basketball very much is because every single year that roster is different. In the NBA, you get to watch guys grow. You get to watch them develop and become the players that they'll someday be. And that's why college basketball, used to be so beloved. You saw guys like Tim Duncan play 3-4 years. I think D Wade with Marquette. Guys play multiple years in college basketball, and you got to watch their journey. College football is very successful for this very reason. But the NBA, if my favorite player is only going to be on my team for 3 or 4 years and then he's off to a different team, we saw Giannis get moved. We saw LaMelo Ball get moved. LeBron James is moving. Jaylen Brown is moving. Got moved. All these different players are moving to different teams, and it is absolutely a problem for the NBA that they have to address. But they won't, because the NBA doesn't care about that. The NBA cares about their gambling partners and their sponsorships and their bottom line. and the owners want more money in their pockets, and this CBA is working out fantastic for them. And the players are suffering, and the fans are suffering, and it's getting ridiculous. It's pretty freaking frustrating as a fan of the NBA. Because again, Victor Wembanyama, and when Cooper flags up for his extension, and AJ DeBonsa, they should not be responsible for taking less money so that they can build a team around them. That should be the job of the GM. And that should be the job of the league to make sure that it's in a place where if you draft well and if you build a good young team, we get to keep our players. Because that's the way that it should be. That's the way that a smart league would make their collective bargaining agreement. And the NBA is just making some massive errors, and I think it's gonna cost them. There's been a ton of talks about ratings in the NBA, and they're going to some streaming services. We've seen maybe ratings rise from things like that, but all in all, the interest in the NBA has dropped a lot. If you talk to the average fan, they follow it mostly on social media. They don't watch full basketball games. And it's become way less of an event. Players are moving around, and it's just not as interesting as it used to be. I love the NBA, so I sit down and watch a ton of games. I get excited for the start of the season, the playoffs, free agency. All that stuff is super exciting to me. But I'm not the average NBA fan. I live and breathe the NBA. But for all those people that casually follow the league, this is not good for them. It is not good to watch their favorite players get moved, and the NBA has to do something about it in this next collective bargaining agreement. But it's going to be tough, because if the owners are seeing more money in their pocket from this, they're not going to want to go away from it. But it's just an issue. That's all we got for you for now regarding this. If you love the NBA, make sure you take a second to subscribe to the channel. We're up over 1,500 subscribers. Appreciate y'all watching. Saborgal.